welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you the products that I wish I would have included on my baby registry. My son is about 5 months old now, and that has been enough time for me to realize that there are some things that I absolutely wish I would have included on my baby registry. And yeah, I thought it might be quite helpful to share those products with you if you are expecting. If you're putting together a registry yourself, I know how overwhelming it can be. There are so many things to choose from and so many different products, and I think that might be half the reason why I didn't include some of these products. It was just sort of an oversight, and or I felt a bit overwhelmed and was just like, that's enough. The registry has to be done. But these products have been a lifesaver in one way or another and are really fantastic, and I wanted to share them with you guys. First and foremost, I just want to give a huge thank you to DockaTot and Banksy Baby for sponsoring today's video. Speaking of DockaTot, we're going to talk about DockaTot first. I, weirdly enough, didn't register for the DockaTot, and that's like going to remain one of the biggest mysteries, I think, of my life because the DockaTot has been such an amazing piece to have. And especially for me, we have been co-sleeping with our son. We just now are starting to transition him into his own crib, but for the first, I mean, he's 19 weeks, and so for the first like 18 and a half of those weeks, he co-slept with us. And having the DockaTot, I realized pretty quickly, would have been so wonderful had we had it from the get-go. And so I don't know why I didn't include it on my registry. DockaTot is the premier co-sleeper. This thing is amazing. First of all, it's so beautifully constructed and so gorgeously made. I absolutely love all their different designs. They have so many different covers to choose from. I opted for this like banana palm leaf design because I think that it's just so pretty, and there's something actually like a little bit tranquil about it as well. This is the DockaTot Deluxe, and what I love about this one is that it closes at the bottom and is actually a really nice size. So it's not insanely large. You could definitely travel with this, and we are definitely going to be traveling with this. We're on a beach vacation in about a month, and I think that this is going to be perfect. Because Hugo is 5 months and they recommend that you can use the DockaTot for your baby 0 to 8 months, this is the perfect thing to put him in when we're either like, we could use this at the beach or when we're in the house and want to just put him down either for a nap or just to play. We know that he's safe and that he can't like roll out of it. I just wish I would have had this when he was an infant. I think that it would have spared me a lot of anxiety during those nights where he was either sleeping in between Jeff and I or sleeping on my chest because we had no other option. Oh, I should also mention that you can unclip the end here, which is really neat, and kind of open up the bottom there. So if you have a baby who's a little bit longer, and Hugo is so long for his age, I want to say I think he's 25 inches. He's in like the 94th percentile for height. But you can always open that bottom and give your baby a little bit of extra room, which I think is fantastic. And now let's talk about the Banksy Baby. If you watched one of, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I took Hugo, and I vlogged it. I took Hugo to the grocery store for the first time, and my biggest question was, how do I take an infant to the grocery store? Where do I put him? I guess I could put him in a carrier, but that seemed kind of bulky and wasn't my first choice. And luckily I had my mom with me, when we got to the grocery store, we found one of those carts that you can put the car seat in, and not every store has those. He was so high up, and so first of all, even though he was safe, it made me nervous. But then I realized, like, once we were actually in the grocery store, maneuvering the cart was so difficult. One, because it was so heavy. Also, I couldn't see past the edge of the cart, and that is why I highly, highly recommend the Banksy Baby. And I highly recommend you include this on your registry because look how cool this is. So it's almost like a little baby hammock. How cute is that? And it's got these two pieces on either side. So you put it into the shopping cart perpendicular to like how you would stand, right? Or across. And each of these little parts, the gray parts, hook onto the edge of the carriage, and then they have little buckles. You could secure it into place, and then the baby lays down in the hammock, and there's a little buckle and a strap, so the baby is nice and safe. But this is just genius. It is so genius. It was so easy to set up. It was so easy to put him in. He really enjoyed it, and if you've been watching my vlogs and if you know anything about my son Hugo, then you know he does not like being put down. He does not like being on his back, and he is not a big fan of like being put into swings or like anything. He surprisingly enough didn't even like the rock and play, which is like everyone's holy grail baby product. So I was a little bit nervous when we put him in this, but he loved it. He really loved it. It made me feel really good because I felt like he was really safe inside of it. And I also love the print. I think that it's such a pretty print, and they have a lot of different prints to choose from. Compact too, like it's not super bulky, and this is something that I'm just gonna leave in my car. So yeah, thank you again to DockaTot and Banksy Baby for sponsoring today's video. I will link both of those products as well as everything else down below. Okay, the next product I wish I would have included on my baby registry is one that I recently purchased myself, and it is the Boone Lawn and Boone Accessory Twig. So the Boone Lawn is essentially a drying rack for bottles. It is just so cute. It looks so cute. It is really, really adorable. I love the twig accessory. Funny enough, you can see that's it's a really good piece for putting smaller bottle pieces on. I don't know why I didn't register for this, because this is one of those products that it's almost like a cult favorite. Don't know why I registered for bottles but didn't register for this. But if you don't have a drying rack, or if you want a drying rack that is specifically for baby stuff, I would highly, highly recommend this. We have a dishwasher, we have a drying rack, but I find that we don't fill up the dishwasher quick enough, and the turnaround with bottles is really fast. And B, I like keeping the bottles and the bottle accessories separate from all the other dishes. Because there are so many pieces and because we use them so frequently, it's just so much easier to have them on their like own separate little lawn. And again, this is so cute, so functional, and it has been really, really handy. The next product I wish we would have registered for is the wipes warmer we have. We purchased the Prince Lionheart wipes warmer. I think I didn't register for it because it seemed almost like a superfluous luxury item to have, like a silly thing to register for, but it makes the world of difference. Hugo, for those first few weeks that we didn't have it, absolutely hated getting his diaper changed, and I don't blame him. Like, first of all, how like uncomfortable must it be just to be naked and like not understand what's going on and to be cold, but on top of that to then have like really, really cold wipes being used on you. And so I thought it was the least I could do. It has been like night and day. He enjoys getting his diaper changed now. I mean, not all the time, but the wipes warmer has been such a wonderful, wonderful product to introduce, and it's just so nice. It makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good to know that the little wipes are warm when they touch him and they're not like agonizingly cold. I also wish I would have registered for an umbrella stroller. I didn't register for an umbrella stroller, and umbrella strollers are pretty cheap. Those are like the easy, very light fold out strollers, but I would recommend registering for one of those, because if you have one of like the bigger, heavier strollers, you'll quickly learn that once you start kind of venturing out and you have baby and baby's getting older, it's so much easier to have a lighter stroller, and we never take our like heavy bugaboo with us places because it's just so cumbersome and it is quite heavy. And so we had to go out and get a lighter stroller, and so now we actually have 3 strollers, which is so silly and excessive, but we needed a lighter, more sort of transport friendly stroller, and so I would highly recommend registering for an umbrella stroller or just something that's going to be more compact. Okay, and the very last items that I wish I would have registered for are actually things that would make a really good gift. So if you know someone who's having a baby shower, I would highly recommend either giving them like a little basket full of these things, or including these things as an add-on. If you are creating a registry yourself, then these are definitely things that I would throw onto your registry. They are like gas/first aid-ish products. Let me show you. So the first is Gripe water. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that I love Gripe water. It has been such a saving grace for our baby. Hugo has been very gassy since day one, and we didn't hear about Gripe water until he was about 8 weeks old, and then someone recommended it to us, and it was like night and day. It won't rectify the situation. It won't take his it won't solve why he has gas, but it definitely soothes his tummy. It's almost immediate, which is really cool. So if you know someone who is pregnant, or if you yourself are pregnant, I would say register for Gripe water. Just make sure you have it. That way it's an option. It's there. You can try it if baby is really inconsolable during the nighttime or really gassy. It's something you can try. I know that this doesn't work for all babies, but oh my gosh, if I would have had this since day one, it would have just been such a game changer. The other product I wish I would have registered for is the FRIDABABY WINDI. I'm gonna make a whole video on the WINDI because it's one of those products you kind of take a step back after you hear about it and you're like, I'm sorry, what is that? The WINDI is a little applicator that you insert into the baby's bottom, and it helps relieve their gas. It allows gas to pass in a really safe way, and obviously makes their tummies feel better. So why do I wish I would have registered for this? Just another tactic to combat gas. Your baby might not be a gassy baby, but your baby might be a gassy baby. And I found over these past 5 months of being a new mom, it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared, especially when your baby is screaming at 2 a.m. Because at 2 a.m., unless you live in a city or somewhere that has like a 24-hour Rite Aid, it's gonna be really hard to get your hands on these things. So this is an option. Again, it's a little bit, I wouldn't call it a controversial product because it is safe and my doctor approved it. Just a funny one. It's definitely a topic of conversation. And the last product is just infant's TYLENOL. It's probably not something that you would need right away. It's probably something that would come more into play once you start vaccinating your baby. But again, it's just something nice to have, and if you are putting together a little basket for a baby shower, I think including all of these products together and maybe some pacifiers, some diapers, would just make a really, really cute little gift basket. Alright guys, those are all the products that I wish I would have put on my baby registry. If you have a baby, if you made a baby registry and there are any products that you wish you would have included, definitely leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out DockaTot, Banksy Baby, and all the other products I mentioned down in the description box. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to y'all really soon. Bye guys!